Welcome to the Hanford Dixon Show.
Roo, roo, roo,
With the
roo,
top dog.
roo, roo, roo,
Hanford
roo.
Dixon.
You notice that bark is not as strong
Yeah, that's
today?
little baby bark.
I mean-
that bark ain't got no bite. And I understand, top dog. It's getting hard to do it. As they say with our friends 92.3 The Fan, it is a Browns Therapy Monday. It's getting old, man. It's getting a little old. It's getting a little sad. But, we're still here. These fans are still passionate, and that passion shows in a diverse amount of ways.
Well, I have to say this to you and Pat. Do you guys? I wish I had a sad song prepared to sing today, because I definitely need.
Is it time for?
I will
raise you up.
Right. Oh, God, I need you. Yes. Take me back to Alabama. Theodore, Alabama, right outside of Mobile. Take me back.
Of his hand.
BJ Parker is the pastor,
It does. It feels like a funeral, bro. I'm not going to lie. It's just getting sadder out
Well,
here.
you guys understand, and you see me today. I'm in pretty much all black. So I'm mourning today because obviously the Browns, I don't know what the hell is going on over there, but big loss. That's one. Number two, Alabama. Roll Tide Roll. I still got to say Roll Tide Roll. And I got a call from Ozzy, and we were talking about what the hell is going on with Alabama. Alabama's lost twice.
Yeah, I was going to say.
In 1 year.
That's nuts.
Normally, Alabama don't lose 2 games in years. So that's a problem. That's why I have on black. Between Alabama, between the Browns, and then we got to talk about those Guardians.
Oh, I know it.
I mean, what the hell happened this weekend?
Well,
this weekend was just bad all the way around, Gab.
It was frustrating because I think what was hard about watching the Guards game was we had so many opportunities to actually beat the Yankees. Maybe we were outmanaged here and there. That's what people were saying on X. I mean, you could make that argument. You could always make that argument if you lose, though. I personally thought Vogt had some stunning decisions throughout the postseason, in fact. So I think it was just you can't leave men on base, that's for sure.
Well, I watching it, you have to look at the players too. I mean, I know we want to always give the manager and in our case the coach a hard time, but I think you have to look at the players because we should have been out of the inning because
Rocchio in that last game. It's tough. You can point to a few moments where you're like, okay, man, you got to make that play. And
I'm not mad at Rocchio or anything because without him, I mean, obviously we wouldn't have made it as far as we.
And I think he really stepped up his confidence in the postseason. He really started to turn a corner, and it was showing through his play. But he is young. He's 23 years old, and he's on a big stage. I thought he was, for the most part, very poised. He just had a uncharacteristic defensive mishap there. And that kind of, who knows, the outcome could have been different with that.
Yeah, he's a Gold Glove guy.
Gaddis can't be giving up wasn't it Gaddis who gave up the big Stanton?
Yeah, but.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, again,
we
should
run around, so you lose track at points.
Yeah, I think Rocchio made a couple of key errors in 2 different ball games. I mean, he just took his eyes off the ball, and you just can't do that. I mean, you just can't do it.
And that'll come with experience too, because when the more you've gotten reps in that kind of tense scenario, the more you think about the task at hand and not necessarily maybe any intrusive thoughts that are like, oh, if I don't make this play, because all it takes is that, and this as an athlete.
Yeah.
All it takes is that split hesitation, like, oh, the outcome if I don't make this play is not good. But you have to be really in the moment, like time to catch and throw. You have to be very in the moment.
And I have to say it again. I keep saying it over and over again. I'm not mad at him. I mean, I would. He's on our team. We want to keep him on our team. But you could say what you want to say. You know who I enjoy watching?
I know who you're going to say, I think.
Soto.
Oh, no, that's not who I thought you were going to say.
Let me tell you something. Wait, you thought I was going to say
Soto has maybe the least punchable face out of all the Yankees. For whatever reason, he kind of looks a little friendly.
Listen
but
to
everybody else is like
me.
punchable face.
Soto is my type of guy. when he's up at bat, I mean he's a showman. I mean he sit there and people can call him cocky. You can call him whatever you want. He plays his little game.
And
listen to me. When you're a pitcher and he keeps falling off every ball after ball after ball,
and he's nodding,
and he's
like,
looking at you in your eyes and saying, "Come on, I want a piece of you. Come on,"
Yeah.
and
It gets in your head.
then to hit that 3-run homer after all that. I mean, you can say what you want to say. That guy is something
Soto. Okay,
else.
yeah.
I mean, he is something else. So
It's tough. It's tough because we were talking about this, and I forgot it was him, but we were talking about this at the game, and I mean, to display that level of confidence really shows, 1, he's been there before, 2, the dude's having fun, and 3, he is ready for the moment.
Gab, the dude is
He's just ready for the moment. So I love that, and I don't know if we're just you have to have a real secure sense of confidence in yourself and your team to be able to have that showmanship, as you called it. And I don't know that we always have that. Josh Naylor momentarily had that showmanship I don't know if it's showman. It's not sportsmanship, I guess.
But not to
rocking the baby.
Not to the level where Soto is. I mean,
Naylor did rock the baby in 22, but however, it was after the fact that he hit a home run. And 2, we did win the game, but the Yankees came back and beat us and then never let us forget that we rocked the baby. So you got to be able to know your team can handle business, and it sucks because I feel like we can't necessarily have that level yet because we know we're just not quite sharpened around the edges and poised enough to beat the Yankees yet. But it's crazy because if we had done everything right, I think we could have gotten to that.
Well, I have to tell you guys this. I am a closet Yankees fan.
Gosh.
I mean,
now it comes out.
But listen to this. Listen to this.
What are you doing?
I am a closet
For
Yankee
what reason?
fan,
Because they cut their hair and
no,
you got no hair?
but
Because they shave their face and you love to shave your face? What is it? You're a Southern boy. What's New York got an appeal to an old Southern guy like you?
Number one, I am a Guardians fan. And when the Yankees play the Guardians, I don't give a damn about the Yankees. I care about the Guardians, and I want to see the Guardians win. And I was rooting for our team right here. But now that the Yankees, they're going to play L.A., I'm going to root.
Dodgers. I don't know. Do you
I'm
guys
going to
think
root for the Yankees.
These Yankees
so.
have to be on performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh.
Pat, help me out. When you look at Giancarlo Stanton at the plate.
He's massive. So the thing is he can reach any pitch. And, I mean, Class A, he can turn around 100-mile-an-hour, heater.
He looks
he
like
can turn
a
it around.
half human, half horse.
Guys,
I'm not kidding.
It's confidence. I mean, he'll sit right there and he don't care. He'll take 2 bad swings. And he doesn't care because he knows that you're gonna try to come across the plate, and once you come across the plate, he's gonna hit it out of here. He had, I think, a total of 8 hits, and every one of them were home runs.
Yeah, they just crank these homers.
This guy is crazy.
I didn't even realize the kind of season Aaron Judge had. Sometimes you get a little AL Central centric as the season goes along. You kind of keep tabs on people, but I was looking up individual stats towards the end of the year just to find out. I was looking up Quan in particular, who really showed out in the postseason. He had an incredible postseason, surpassed Kenny Lofton for his hit streak in the postseason. He racked up so many hits in a row, game to game. He was batting over 500 and things. Definitely doing his job. When I went to look up those individual stats, I was like, dang, I didn't realize Aaron Judge was just topping a ton of categories out here. I mean, the guy
he is a monster.
Was cranking home runs
he is a monster.
He is a monster.
And again, we wish the Yankees well. I mean,
no, you wish the Yankees. They're not nice in the comments. Okay, they're not nice.
Well, they said a lot of good things about the Guards. I mean, they really, they did. They said a lot of good things about the Guards.
Fun.
But I don't care about their fans.
I'll tell you this one, Hanford. We were at Game 3, my girlfriend and I, with the one with the big Christmas, your boy. The home run to tie it up in the 9th inning. 4 Yankees fans in the bleachers in front of us from Rochester, New York. Double, back-to-back home runs for the Yankees, and then those guys left. 90. They're on 90 East. They're on 90 East on the way home, and they're finding out that Big Christmas hits a home run, 2 outs in the 9th. Take it. See you guys. See ya.
Bye.
I don't care. I don't care.
Can I make a confession?
Oh boy.
No. No.
Would you fall asleep?
Did you turn
Listen
off that
to
game?
this.
I thought you were going to say Big Christmas. When you originally teed this whole thing up, I thought you were going to say Big Christmas.
Listen, I knew that's where you thought I was going. But listen to this, guys. I have to confess because I turned the game off. Let me tell you when I turned the game off or when I switched to another station and started watching something else because I couldn't stand to see us lose this ball game. So I think it was when the Yankees, they had men on base. And then, when Jose got into the rundown. We made a mistake and we didn't get an out there.
Yeah, Jose, yeah.
And I think the Yankees then had guys that wanted at first and third with nobody out, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it, so I said, this game is over, man. I said, it's done, and I turned the TV. And then so finally I was, one of my buddies texted me and he said, great game. And I knew when he said great game, I said,
miracle?
Yeah, I said, shit.
The miracle?
For him to say that means we won the game. So here I am scrambling, trying to get back on the tube and rewind and find everything that happened. And I was just so happy. And to know that my guy, Big Christmas, was involved in that really made me happy. But I don't care what anyone says. Big Christmas is 23 years old, and the guy's going to make mistakes. He's going to get out, but he's not going to do anything but get better. I'm telling you, we got to have him in the lineup, and he's got to be there at right field because he's such a great defensive player, too. Yeah. I mean, we got to have him out there. But anyway, enough about the Guardians, but they had a wonderful, wonderful season, and I think we have to say congratulations to them, especially with the first-year manager.
First-year manager, no Shane Bieber. You sometimes wonder what it would have been like if Tristan could be himself this year, Tristan McKenzie. And just we're the youngest team in baseball. And on top of that, guys, we're like at the bottom 3 to 5 of our payroll. Not like that matters a ton, but it does kind of because you're like, hey, look what we've made consistently.
Well, let me say this too, and I know Pat is screaming at me about a break, but I got to say this. So I'm sitting there. Let's get back to the Browns. I'm sitting there in the cardiac club.
Okay.
And there, I try to watch the game, but I can't watch the game because there's so many people coming up to me. They want to talk. They want autographs. They want pictures, which is fine. I'm not, and I do it every time because I love our fans. We have the greatest fans anywhere in the world. But we're going to get into the whole thing about the booing and
we'll get into it. I'm interested.
And all that. So, but the sad thing is, I'm wearing black again today because the Guardians lost, Alabama lost, and our beloved Browns lost.
We'll be back again on this Therapy Monday, as we say around the land, with more Hanford Dixon show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It is time for us to dive into our Browns headlines. It's brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. They've got furniture, kitchen cabinets, hot tubs, mattresses, and way more for a lot less than what you'd find at those fancy, expensive retail stores. You can also shop online at northeastfactorydirect.com or visit any of their stores in Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, or North Canton. And don't forget to ask about that Hanford Dixon bonus. We will be giving away a recliner on this show. Actually, you and I got to just find out when we want to go pick one out together.
You know what?
And show you guys.
You are just reading my mind because I was just thinking the same thing because we do have to get over to the store. Otherwise, he's going to kill both of us.
David told me, he's like, yeah, you got to get in touch with them and go over there, pick one out.
Because I want to get in. I just want to just relax, get in one of them and relax.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some Browns fans who'd like to kick back and maybe fall asleep for the rest of the season. I don't know.
I think I can talk him into maybe giving us that Hanford Dixon price if I wanted to buy one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you're the top dog.
Let's see if we can do that. But yeah, we have to get over there to the store. But great people over there.
Yes, great people. They will hook you up. We've got to talk about these Browns. I know it's been tough, but we dropped 1-6 with that loss over the weekend, and we're gonna take on the 4-2 Ravens this week. So maybe we'll be having to talk with your boy Ozzy.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about this game though, because going into this game, obviously we know it was a tough hill for us to climb at 1-5, but it's really really tough now that we're at 1-6, and here's the most important thing right now because we're getting ready to we're starting to hit a part of our schedule where we're in the division. And obviously the Bengals are in our division. Now we got one loss, and now we got another division foe right behind them. As you talked about it, we got the Baltimore Ravens. But Gab, I'm sitting up there, and this game was, I was really excited about this game because I thought we had a chance, because if you look at our record with the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, normally we play them pretty well, and especially at home, we normally beat them at home. So
Joe Burrow's record at home, before yesterday, wasn't it like 1-5, Pat?
Yeah, guys, that was the first Joe Burrow win in Cleveland in 7 years. First Bengals win, I should say, in 7 years.
That's cause to think that we have a shot at this game. And I was on the field earlier, and I was giving away prizes, taking pictures with kids, and then I go upstairs, and I keep talking about the Cardiac Club because that's where I go, and I go sit right there, and I start watching the game. And before I looked, I turned around and I looked up, and it was 7-0 right off the bat, and I'm saying, you have got to be kidding me. I think it was Pat, was it 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown?
100 yards.
I'm like, what the hell is going on just as fast? I mean, and then we turn around, we get the ball, we go 3 and out very fast. Then we give the ball right back to them, and that's when I started to change my mind, because I actually picked us to win this ball game.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to win this ball game, but those Bengals, man, I was a little afraid because, Gab, I thought we were catching them at the wrong time. And what I mean by that is they were just starting to play really, really good football, especially on offense, because Joe Burrow, he's starting to heat up. And, man, he's got those two weapons, talking about Chase and Higgins. Obviously, Higgins is playing on a 1-year deal right now, and Chase, wasn't really happy at the beginning of the season because he wanted a new contract. And Joe Burrow, I mean, gave him all that money. But these guys, I think where they're starting to play really, really well is, if you watch them, we are used to the one-back set for them. Now they're starting to play a 2-back set. They got Brown, and I think the other back is Zach Woods. I want to say that's his name.
Zach Moss. Yeah.
Zach Moss. Yeah. They got the 2-back set, and I'm telling you, these guys are very, very productive running the football. And if they are able to run the football, they had a big run, I think, that was called back. But if they're able to run the football with the weapons that Joe Burrow have on the outside, it's gonna be absolutely crazy. And then we come back, guys, and I know I'm just ranting here because I just want to get it out. And then it was just really, really disappointing because we come back and we get some points on the board, and then our reliable kicker, I mean, he missed the extra point. I mean, he missed. I mean, and before that, I think, didn't he miss like a 49-yard field goal or something? That he was trying to. It was a 49-yard field goal.
Yeah, he was
that
0
he
for
missed.
2 on the day.
Yeah,
really brutal special teams day.
Yeah, Dustin Hopkins. I mean, this is a guy that's been pretty much automatic for us. Yeah. And so at that point, we're just not working on all cylinders, or shall I say, any cylinders. But I think overall, I think the defense didn't play bad, Pat. I thought they played pretty good.
Yeah, the defense was pretty good. I mean, Joe Burrow was able to find Jamar Chase and T. Higgins a couple of times. The secondary is not going to be able to hold them the whole game. But the thing that was worrying to me was there wasn't a whole lot of pressure that I saw on Joe Burrow. But I think the thing is, those wide receivers are just better than our corners and our secondary right now. I mean, maybe you're the expert here, Hanford.
Well, did you guys see? I thought it was a really, really good play and a really good pass pattern. I think it was on when Greg Newsome was playing Lamar Chase over on the side, and Burrows threw this behind-the-shoulder pass, and he threw it where only Chase could make the play. And Greg Newsome said that Chase pushed off on him, but I just thought it was just a great, great play. And I didn't think Greg had really bad coverage. I just thought it was just a better throw and a better catch and it was also good coverage. But again, I thought those guys came through. And at that point,
it was one of those back shoulder throws that reminded me of like Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. And then he stepped over Greg Newsome in the end zone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Really nice. And knowing your guys, having that like court awareness.
Yeah. And at that point we were down 14-6. Guys, in the second quarter, we have to dive into this, and we have to. This is something I know we don't want to talk about, but we have to. Talking about our quarterback, DeShaun. I mean, Gab, he had a pretty bad injury. And did you the way he went down, Gab? Let me tell you what he. I'll tell you the way he went down. I mean, no one touched him.
Yeah.
I mean, no one touched him. He was. I think he was getting ready to run like a quarterback run, or quarterback sneak, or something like that. And I think his back foot got caught in the turf or the grass. I don't know, whatever the hell we have over there now.
Maybe he was planted funny.
Yeah, it was absolutely. I think that's a better description of it.
Planted funny in his foot, and then maybe he tried to, when he went to go power off of it.
And it looked like someone shot him.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see that on a field, and we've all been around enough to understand that when something like that happens, you know it's pretty serious. When no one touches you and you just go down. I was just hoping that it wasn't as bad as now we're finding that it's be. It's really season-ending injury. It could be career-ending injury. His Achilles. I mean, it's a pretty bad. I haven't had it. I haven't had that injury, and I hope I never have it. But it's.
So they were saying an Achilles rupture. I mean, I don't know if the team officially came out with that, but
the team hasn't come out with that yet. But it was pretty clear. Like Aaron Rodgers had it, Kirk Cousins. It was the same mechanism where you could see that calf pop, the Achilles pop. Yeah.
Well,
really ugly.
I have a quick question for you guys.
And we will have to address the elephant in the room.
Well, that's where I was going. What did you think of that?
I wasn't super shocked to learn about that. I mean, I'm not going to cheer for anyone's injury, or I'm not cheering for like a physical injury by any means for someone. But if you, I'm not saying but. I'm just saying we have to zoom out and understand, not to justify the reaction from the crowd, but I think it just goes so much deeper than the isolated incident of watching DeShaun get injured and exit the game. And with that being said, like not everybody, even the team doesn't look like they're on the same page. The fans don't really feel like they're on the same page.
Yeah. What about you, Pat? What was your feelings on that whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a DeShaun Watson fan whatsoever, so I understand where the fans are coming from. But it feels to me this is the culmination of a disconnect between the fan base and the front office and the team. The team and the front office are willing to cover for DeShaun Watson, support him in whatever because he's their quarterback. Fans, right, wrong, indifferent, didn't really want this guy. Played terrible football, and that's the last straw in this town is if you play bad football. You can get away with a lot of things in this town if you play good football, but he wasn't doing it, and the fans let him know. It's just an ugly scene all around. There's no winners in this situation.
Yeah. Well, and it was a mixed, to be honest. It felt a little mixed even when we got him. There was a lot of people who didn't want him, and then I was kind of shocked. There was a lot of people who were showing up with crazy things in the Muni lot being like, hey, we're buying.
Yeah.
So it was already brought an odd vibe, I think, to the fan base and the team and everything. So, and we've just had to deal with that. And now, like you said, Pat, I mean, the one thing that could be the unifier here is, well, you got to go out there and play good football, and we just didn't really see that.
Well, let me say this. Let me give my thoughts, and I do consider myself a fan favorite. I mean, I do. I think the fans they pay their money.
Yes.
They have a right to boo. They have a right to cheer. And you could just tell during the course of the game, there was a lot of booing and there was a lot of cheering of DeShaun. But I just find it hard to believe because we're in Cleveland. I mean, we have the best fans, I think, anywhere in the world. And our fans, they support this football team, win, lose, or draw. I mean, you guys know when you go to that stadium, I mean, when there was a really bad losing record, and you still had, I want to say 80,000 plus. I keep thinking of the old stadium that when I played in it, we had 80,000 plus. But whatever it is, whether it's 70,000 plus or 60,000 plus, the point is we would fill the stadium right now, and our fans would fill the stadium. But our fans are a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people, passionate fans. I don't think it was everybody that was cheering when he got hurt. I think maybe you had a few guys, and you have to understand some of those.
You can make the argument. Not every fan in the stands is saying, "Oh, he just had a career-ending injury." They see the guy go down, and maybe they're interpreting it. Hey, maybe this is the end of an era that we're kind of like been white knuckling through, or end of for the season, or whatever. I don't know.
And I think
nobody knows.
And I think a lot of guys
doesn't justify it.
I think a lot of fans wanted to see us change quarterbacks. Wanted to, whether it was DTR or whether or not it was Jameis. I think they wanted to see us change, but I don't think deep down in their heart, I don't think any of them really wanted to see DeShaun get hurt or wanted to see us change quarterbacks, make that change with something like this happening.
Well, and to be honest, you got to understand, we are in sports.
Yeah.
Like, people's emotions are there, and they historically have always been there. And the fans, the reactions are brutal, and they're honest, and they're passionate. And weren't we just talking about, Pat, you had mentioned earlier, I mean, we were chatting in between segments here, was it Couch, who ended up...
Yeah, Tim Couch, must have been 2000, 2001, somewhere in there.
I remember.
But he got booed when he got cheered when he got hurt as well, and he said it really destroyed him emotionally, that type of thing, which is really brutal because he was the first overall pick in an expansion draft, so he was really put in a bad position. But he was able to come back, and he was able to move on from it. This is going to be one of those ones that people are still going to be talking about for years and years.
It's really tough. It's just the nature of the beast. Whether wrong or right, the reality is, and we can help advocate. I mean, I think that. I don't know.
Well,
it's tough. It's just right. It is brutal,
one.
and I do feel for athletes. I mean, that is emotionally got to be super destructive. But when you go to enter that level and that arena, and this is your dream, and you're getting paid the big bucks, and you're on that stage, just know it comes with the territory. It doesn't make it right or wrong or fun all the time. But hey, that is the kind of the unwritten contract. Is sports.
My question too is, like, I'm exactly with you. Do you think the fans would have cheered so much if DeShaun wasn't deflecting in press conferences all the time?
Well, I was going to beg that question.
Like, right?
I have a big question. Had he a little bit more overtly taken accountability rather than always kind of been like deferred to the I'm taking the fifth on this, or maybe would that have gotten people on his side?
So
that's a great
question.
question.
Right there, cut it and say more of that right after this break.
It's a great question.
Well, I want to say this before we cut it. Another big question we have to get into and we have to try to figure out. Why was DTR the number two cornerback and not Jameis?
All valid questions. We're going to answer those and dive in right after this. More Hanford Dixon Show. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We've got a lot we're going to dive into here. But first, I wanted to point out the defense and how they were playing well and get your thoughts on the defense.
It really played well. I thought we played well enough to win, but obviously that's not the case because when as well as I do, when the other team score more points than you do, that's a problem. But I thought, I thought our secondary gave up a play here and there, but I thought overall it was better than the previous games that we've played, and I thought we were able to tighten up a little bit on the run defense. I thought that was good, but anytime you hold this high-powered offense with Burrows and all the weapons that he has to what was it, Pat? 21 points, I want to say.
Yeah, 21 points, guys, and one of them was the kickoff. So, I mean, it was just 14 points on offense for the Bengals.
Yeah. Because I think looking at the whole game, I thought our defense had Burrows confused a lot, because one thing that he has started to do, guys, he has started to get rid of the ball really, really quick. I mean, get rid of it really, really quick. And I thought we were getting to him. I thought we were making him confused a little bit, had him thinking we were in one thing and we were in something else. But I'm proud of the way our defense played.
Yeah, and we saw a couple hard hits, which brings us to our Lipton hard iced tea hit of the game. I'm interested to see what you had, but I'll go first. That Shelby Harris sacking. You said Burrow was a little confused.
Yeah.
Sacking Burrow on 4th and 3 in the first quarter.
Well, you see, I'm glad you went there with yours because, again, you heard me say that Burrows was getting rid of the ball really quick, and when you get rid of the ball really quick, it's hard for a defensive lineman to get to him. And we know going into this ball game, that's one of the things that we had to do. We had to get to him to be successful in this game. And I am going to piggyback off what you did, but mine was in the second quarter. And me being a defensive back, playing corner, we always want to see pressure on the quarterback. We always want to see sacks. And I'm getting so excited because I think Zadarius Smith in the second quarter and also Hurst, those two guys came up with 2 big sacks.
Yes.
And those were my Lipton hard iced tea hard hits. So, again, man, we put something on him. I even saw him, Gab, getting up a little bit slow, and he was a little gingerly there on a couple of those big hits that we put on him.
Hey, do you know how old Zadarius Smith is?
No, how old is he? He's. I thought you. Is it a trick or something?
I just was curious because
I would think. No,
I looked it up, but I wanted.
He's
to
been around. He's been around a while. I know that.
I just think it's so cool, the energy and what he brings to a team, and our team specifically.
30s.
Yeah, he's 32.
I know. I was gonna say.
You're right. He's been around,
Yeah.
and he really plays with a lot of explosiveness, and you can see his veteran status and anticipation on display.
Well, he has to, Gab, because what happened is he's on the opposite side of Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
And even though, that's another question. I mean, I have, obviously we know Myles has been hurt a little bit, but he hasn't had a sack. I don't. Did he have one yesterday, Pat?
No, he did not.
Is this the last 2 weeks he's been without a sack? And
that's his foot is really bothering him.
Yeah.
You make that point. You make that point about
stuff.
playing next to Myles Garrett. We're really missing Jadeveon Clowney, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Too. You need someone in there, but we can't always have like corners blitzing. But Gab, I got a trivia question for you. How many sacks do you think Hanford Dixon had in his career?
Yeah, baby.
I know Hanford knows the answer.
Yeah. We want to go. That's right.
That's right. And the number is not 0, by the way.
Well, I figured that because you even asked it.
Could you imagine?
And one of them was Terry Bradshaw.
It was Terry Bradshaw.
That's what
that was the game of your life, Hanford.
Yes.
Okay, what do you mean,
hit him
how
right
many?
in the back.
That's right.
Hit him right in the back.
I need to know how this happened. How did this happen?
Okay, so he had 1 sack in 1982, 1 sack in 1983. Hanford, what do you remember about
I
those?
was going to say 2. I really was.
Really? Okay.
Because I'm like, it's obviously
he's
one.
a corner.
Maybe
They
got a
didn't
couple.
blitz corners too much.
I was going to say, all right, so how did this...
How'd you get there,
Because
Hanford?
what's going to happen is they're not going to waste the corners and trying to get you a corner blitz. They want you in coverage.
Right,
But
right.
I was having the game of my life
That's
against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And,
Gab, he had 3 picks and a sack on Terry Bradshaw.
Hey,
Oh,
Gab,
wow.
Gab, I tried to make him fumble. I mean, Gab, when I came up on him, I lifted off my feet and I just hit him right in the back. See, then you can hit him in the back with a headgear, and then you could fall on him. You could abuse him. But that's why you see most of those quarterbacks today, they can't hardly walk.
Hanford, I put that helmet
God.
behind you. I put that helmet on in case you want to get back out there for
Big
us.
dog. Well,
It's sitting right behind you. I don't know if you can see it in the camera.
Would you be Terry Bradshaw?
Unreal.
Can I put on that helmet and hit you in your back?
You want to give me like the old Hanford Dixon.
I might hurt you, Gab, so we better not do it.
The Hanford Dixon sneak attack.
Talk about a hard hit.
I'm not going to do it. Boy, you talk about a great segment for Lipton Hard
I know
Iced
you
Tea.
probably had too many of these iced teas. Let's be real. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, we'll be back with more Hanford Dixon show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We are going to head around the AFC North, presented by Garage Beer. We'll start right with the Cleveland Browns because, we were talking about some really interesting topics here with DeShaun Watson, and also just the fact about, who do we think should come in at quarterback? We were teeing it up earlier about DTR came in as second rather than Jameis. Who do you think should be starting against the Ravens?
That's a mystery to me. Not who I think should be starting. Personally, I think DTR give us the best chance to win. I mean, I really do. I mean, I know Jameis is the old veteran quarterback, But here's the big question, the thing that's really driving me crazy, because when you look at it, you look at the depth chart, and Jameis was number 2 on that chart, and DTR was number 3. Okay, but it started circulating through the stadium that DTR was in this game, DTR was going to be the number 2 quarterback, and Jameis was going to be the number 3, what they call the emergency quarterback. And what that means is the only way that Jameis can play in the ball game yesterday was that DTR got hurt. If he was just having a bad performance, there's no way they can go pull him and go to Jameis. They would have to stick with him unless he got hurt. So that's the way that whole thing. And obviously, he got hurt. So that's how Jameis came in the ball game.
Now, were you surprised by that?
I was very, very surprised. I mean, very surprised because, there was talk that Jameis was at the Guardians game. And we all know the Guardians game. The game didn't start until like 8:10 or something like that. It was a late ball game, and it was a late finishing ball game. So I don't know. Something must have happened. I'm not saying something did.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's weird because it was just an in-house.
So maybe it was
is that
just
the T, Gab?
Yeah. Because what you don't without giving an explanation, you don't just say that DTR gives you the better chance to win.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, I mean, why is Jameis taking all the reps at the number 2 pretty much?
That makes more sense. Maybe it's just an isolated
during the week. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out about that. But I think getting ready for the Baltimore Ravens, I think they would probably, I think they'll probably have Jameis be the number 2 guy and DTR being the number 3 guy. But I don't have a problem with DTR playing because obviously he was a 5th round draft pick for us, and I think Andrew Berry said that coming out, he had this guy ranked the number 5 quarterback on his board. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out. We'll see how it plays out.
It'll be interesting too because DTR last year he found out 12 hours before the Ravens game that he was going to play.
Yeah.
That he was going to be the starting quarterback, and he got slaughtered.
Right.
He was led to slaughter there, unfortunately. But this is going to be a different. He's gotten more confidence. He played better last year. But
I was going to say he rebounded.
It's going to be different.
Yeah, and once we get his arm all worked out, because we know that he's deadly with his legs too. I mean, he's one of those quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and those guys. I mean, that can run that RPO.
He certainly has a lot of tools.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out.
Before we move on to our other teams around the AFC North, real quick, what did Mitchell do wrong? You think? A little defensive question for you. When Higgins beat him on that 25-yard touchdown pass in the third quarter?
Yeah, it was the third quarter,
and they went up 21-6.
And they went up 21-6. And that was pretty interesting. Gab, that's pretty good. I see you are paying attention when you watch the game. You are not just having a cocktail. You are watching the game.
It was a real big baseball weekend for me, but
Yeah. It was funny. I think the biggest problem, Cam Mitchell, and I like this kid because this kid wears number 29. Obviously, it's a
good number.
That's a good number. That's a good number. But I like him. But where he got into trouble is. Higgins beat him on the line of scrimmage, but Cam was able to make the tackle right after he beat him. And I think that's the problem he had, because he could have made it to a minimum gain, and he missed the tackle after Higgins caught the ball, and Higgins was able to just walk in the end zone for a TD. So to answer your question, after he was beat, he just had to make the tackle, and he just didn't do that.
And that's a problem, Hanford, the physicality of our cornerbacks?
Again, reading my mind, it is because, and I don't think just with our cornerbacks, I think also, I'm talking about the tackling right now, I think all of our guys need to go back and hit that tackling machine, because we can definitely do that better. Because when you make those tackles, even, I'm going to say this to you, Greg Newsome in the game, the guy ran a little in the Philadelphia game. The guy ran a like a little pick play. And on that pick play, you can't go underneath it. You got to go over top of it. When you go over top of it, the guy catch the ball, you make the tackle, it's a 10-yard gain. But if you go underneath it, you get picked, we're in the thing. Now it's just a huge gain and a touchdown. So, I think it's something that we need to get better at.
All right, real quick. Giants are at the Steelers, okay, and they've only scored over 21 points once this season. The Steelers defense has only allowed more than 20 points once all season. Who do you think is going to win that matchup?
Boy, I'll say this. I think the Steelers right now are rolling. I mean, you have to give their head coach a lot of credit. I mean, this guy, for him to make the move that he made, I'm talking about Justin Fields, took him out at quarterback, inserted Russell Wilson to start that game, and Russell against the Jets. He played pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they won the ball game. They're 5-2, and like you said, they're getting ready to play the Giants. I think the Steelers right now are a lot better. Well, I like Russ. I think Russ is the veteran quarterback, and he's the guy I think deserved to be the starting quarterback. But obviously he was hurt, so he had to go through that whole thing, get healthy. But what I wanted to say about the Steelers a lot better than I thought they were going to be. And this kid, Pat, what's that receiver? Is it Pickens?
George Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens right now is just, he's saying, okay, throw me the ball. I want to be involved in this whole thing. But those guys are 5-2 right now. Mm-hmm. They're 5-2, and they're playing extremely well. So by far, I think the Steelers will take this one.
Hey, guys, we got a huge game coming up for the Browns-Ravens. Your guy, Ozzie.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry coming to town. What are you guys looking at for next week's game? The Browns are 1-6. Any chance, Gab? What do you think in this game? It doesn't feel like it, right?
You want me to take it first?
If we got to be brutally honest.
Please do, honestly.
The way we're headed into this game and what it looks like versus how the Ravens have been performing, it doesn't look super promising. So I'm starting to get sick after this weekend.
No, I agree with you because, Gab, their defense is starting to come on and play well. Offensively, they've been playing really well anyway. You got Lamar Jackson. Obviously, this guy is we know what he can do with his legs, and
he's an extreme threat with his legs and his arm.
And his arm. He's got those weapons. Mark Andrews right now is starting to show up because the first few games of the season, Andrews just wasn't there. So Baltimore right now is starting to cook on all cylinders, offensively, defensively, and special teams. When they're a dangerous, dangerous football team. When you look at it, they're just a toe away from being, you know the play, Pat. You know what I'm doing.
If he was a size 12 instead of a size 13,
yeah.
Or the Chiefs on the opening night, unbelievable.
Or if he had different color shoes on,
different
color shoes on. But the Ravens right now, I'm telling you, they are the team to beat. I think in the AFC North because
they're so strong, and it just kind of looks like we're in disarray and they're buttoned up.
Hey, what does Harbaugh brothers say? Who's got it better than we do? And the answer is nobody.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Kreuz alongside the top dog. And real quick, Hanford, because we were talking about us versus the Ravens. Is this going to be the game that we really wake up against? I will say this. Cleveland, we still haven't put up 20 points on the board.
Right.
Yet. But the Ravens have allowed at least 23 points in 5 of their 6 games.
Well, they haven't.
I don't know if this does or means anything.
Well, they haven't played us yet, so that's we haven't scored. We like you just said, we haven't scored. I don't think we've scored. We maybe 18 points, but come on.
We're hurting to get that lid off.
Oh my
guys!
I don't know.
The Browns haven't scored above 20 points, which means since UCLA scored more than 20 points this past Saturday, they're the only team in the NFL or FBS college football that hasn't scored 20 points.
Oh my God. And
Isn't
that's
that
pretty
unbelievable?
bad. That's pretty
do you think
bad.
It's a little crazy considering, aren't we about the same team we had as last year?
I would say so. Yeah. We added Jerry Jeudy. The offensive line, it can't all be on Bill Callahan. It can't.
It's just kind of crazy to comprehend at this point.
And you know what? With Flacco, I think we went 4-1 with Joe Flacco, and that offense was cooking, man. So who knows? Maybe
it is a little tough. In the beginning of the season, I was like, okay. listen, we got to get over ourselves. They made their decision. No, there's no Flacco, and then he starts playing well. And we're watching him all right now play well, and we're like, okay, guys, well, it was the past, close the yearbook, but it's also kind of like, no, that made a lot of sense, though.
Well, you know
we didn't do it.
Yeah, but you know what they did? And I'm talking about Stefanski now. They went to him, and at his press conference, a lot of people asked, they wanted to know, was the reason that you didn't pull DeShaun, the reason why you didn't play Jameis or you didn't play DTR, was it coming from up above, meaning the owner or Andrew Berry or someone like that? And he said no. He said DeShaun gives us the best chance to win. And he said also, any football decisions, those are made by me. And me personally, I don't know. I have to believe the guy, because if things doesn't go right, he's the one that's going to take the blame. He's the one that's going to get fired. And if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired doing it my way, the way that I think I have the best chance to succeed. And I reiterate, he said any football decisions, they are made by me and me only.
That's great, but this is the first time. I think so.
I mean, come on, Hanford.
That's great to say, Hanford, but this is the first time.
His checks.
This is the first time we've lost 5 straight games since we went 0-16.
Yeah.
So you can do it your way. You're still losing games your way.
If you watch him, no, seriously, if you watch him talk, it looks like he's just so freaking defeated.
Brutal.
I kind of feel bad for Stefanski.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? This is uncharted territory for him. I mean, you guys, you're talking about the guy who was voted
Coach of the Year.
Twice.
Two-time Coach of the Year.
Twice Coach of the Year. So
what a fall from grace.
Yeah.
I think he's in a stuck position.
Yeah, 2-time Coach of the Year. So oh my God. So you guys, I take it before we go, you guys don't believe that football decisions are his decisions and his decisions alone?
I kind of feel like we paid a lot of money for that number 4, and we're doubling down on that, and that is like above him.
I agree. I think it has to be the same. It's Jimmy. I think Jimmy did that with Baker as well, where he was like, you have to play him. He's the number 1 overall pick. I don't care. You play him. I think it's all coming from
Stefanski,
Jimmy.
I'm on your side. I believe you, big dog. Whatever you say, I believe it.
We'll take a break and be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show, where Hanford wears headphones when we don't talk to anybody digitally through the computer, and he's also wearing flip-flops today.
Well, I'm a little disappointed in you because, I understand why you don't wear your headphones. You don't want to mess up that hair of yours looking all fancy-dancy there.
No, I just couldn't find a pair of headphones either, or else I would match them.
They're right there. They're right there. From now on, that's where they are, so you don't have any problem.
We'll do a little continuity error thing where she starts the segment.
Hey, can I do this?
Yes, sir.
Some people say I'm no good. I'm crazy as can be. I get stoned in the morning, I get drunk in the afternoon, but I ain't asking nobody for nothing. If I can't get it on my own.
Get it on my own.
If you don't like the way I'm living, leave this so short-haired country boy alone.
He said, leave this short-haired country boy alone.
We're praying for a win, guys.
Now, if you don't want me to sing, get us a win, and I won't sing, okay?
We're praying for that Browns dub. Real quick, Hanford, before we get out of here, if you're part of that Browns Backers Club, any Browns Backers Club out there, we want to hear from you. We're taking submissions. We're going to be hearing from Dave of the North Ridgeville Browns Backers chapter next week. You can also always reach out to us on X at Top Dog Show or email Pat at bigplay.com. We'll get you on the show. We want to hear from you. Pat, good show. Thanks so much.
Good stuff, guys. Therapy Monday. We needed it. Yeah. Really, really needed it.
We did. Top Dog. We'll see you guys all next week. Thanks so much for watching.